All right, I guess we clocked in. Let's make sure you guys can hear me. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. Happy holiday, everyone. Happy holidays. You know what I'm saying? Now, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And the whole idea of me helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced is just so that you could, let's just say, attain your highest level of consciousness. And when we say, let's just say, when we're talking about Jesus, we're talking about the Christ, being a Christ-like, Krishna, Buddha. What you see there, those are however you want to look at it. Let's just say you want to say those are historical figures, right? Okay, so now those historical figures are a representation of the highest level of consciousness. That's why at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if they existed or not, but what matters is what they represents. So for you to become Christ-like, you would need to attain the same or more or higher level of consciousness as Jesus did. That's why in Buddhas, there are so many different type of Buddha. But ultimately, the key word or the key understanding here is that these are nothing. I mean, everything. I mean, these are simply a representation or a personification of that level of understanding. That's why a lot of these people that are very balanced, they help you to love, they help you to open up, they give you broader perspective in life. Like Jesus talking about love. I mean, all that shit that he was talking about came out of a level of consciousness. But for you to attain or have the highest level of consciousness, you need to become whole. You need to reconnect with yourself. So the idea of having being, because we all know, let's just say, I mean, if you're depressed, meaning your emotions are not balanced, I mean, it's going to have some sort of impact in your intellect. In fact, that's why we say some people are too, let's just say, are too emotional. Now, their vision could be clouded because their emotions has either taken over, however you like to define it. All I'm trying to show you here is that when you're not balanced or you both part have not come in alignment, you are not in harmony. So therefore, you're not gonna have the greatest level of consciousness. And vice versa. Let's just say if you're more on your intellectual aspect of yourself, if you're more intellect. In fact, if you know anything about the Jesus story, you know the 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 religious people. That's what they represented. The people in the hierarchy, society, religion, the political arena. So when you become too strong on your mental, if you fail to acknowledge your emotions, then you become very rigid. You become like Judge Dredd. You're not flowing right. Although you're not emotional, but now you become truly a savage, a pig. Not a dirty one, but in the sense of you become like there's no emotions in you. So either way, you become unbalanced, and when you become that way, without a little bit of emotion, you don't get to see the full picture. So, and that's also the idea of mind, body, and soul is that alignment, is true balance. That's how you become 100% healed. You become the holy man, the perfect man, not referring to being flawless, but this is perfect or completion because you have successfully combined the yin and the yang. So, as a spiritual healer, pretty much that's pretty much what I do. And I use and I help you to become mentally and emotionally balanced just so you could get to the ultimate point. I mean, to the ultimate goal here, which is for you to become fully conscious. That's the name of the game. Now, if you're coming back, welcome back, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's always a pleasure to have you back. You already know. Let's get right into it, baby. It's good to have you back. You know what I'm saying? Sunday night, get your drinks, a little bit of smoke. Do what you do, baby. So now, as part of my routine, guys, I always like to take the time and talk about spirituality for a little bit because spirituality is pretty much the foundation. It's the tool that I use as a spiritual healer for me to help you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. So it's only right for me to spend a little bit of time let you know exactly what spirituality is, and also to talk about some of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to spirituality. Now, when we're talking about spirituality, it's simply your regular life. It's the complexity and the in your ordinary life. It's dealing with this life in all different aspect. Again, your regular life. And what you need to understand about your regular life, and that's why the Indian called this world, the regular life, the world that you're living in now, Maya, which means illusion. Meaning, illusion means it's not as it appears to be. So the reality that you're living in now, that spirituality it's all about, it's telling you it's not what it seems, it's not what it appears to be. That's why your purpose, as you're getting to know your true nature, it sets you free from the illusion of this world, meaning you truly get to see things for what they are. You're looking beyond the veil. That's why you'll see in this ordinary life that you're living in, dealing with somebody or even to be in a relationship, it's not just being in a fucking relationship. It's a lot more complicated than that. It's you dealing with another spirit or another living mind. So therefore, you are dealing with their mom and dad. You're dealing with their process, their culture. You're dealing with all of that. That's when you go like, oh, my husband was raised a certain way, my wife was raised a certain way. So you're dealing with that's what you're dealing with. And of course, the person in front of you, but it's more to that person than what they look like. That's why for you to get to know somebody, you got to know their character, not what they look like, not their fake behaviors. It's to truly know who they are. And that pretty much entails, and which I will be talking about tonight too, the shadow self. But anyway, I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. But going back to the subject at hand, dealing with spirituality is simply your life. It's your regular life. Now, as part of spirituality, now you have what is called the occult. The occult now is dealing with I like to call it the manuals. Those are the texts, the sacred knowledge, or the esoteric knowledge, wisdom, mysticism, however the fuck, whatever name it goes by. You may also, okay, the Bible, all of that, those are dealing with the occult, meaning, or they are the occult. They dealing now with the side of you that you do not see. That's why in so many cases the occult is looked at as being as the hidden culture. And some of the basic shit that the occult will teach you is that you have a conscious mind and then you also have a subconscious mind. All of that's doing to you is making you becoming a little more aware of your ordinary life and what's really taking place. That's why the occult, in so many words, it's giving you a deeper understanding of your ordinary life. There you go. And the more we learn about us, the more you realize that's when now some people choose to become spiritual now because they have a knowledge or they have became a little more conscious of other or of their divine qualities. Again, regular fucking life, different level of consciousness now. And that's what you need to wake up from. Quantum physics is telling you right now, and the Kybalion call them physical science. I love that because their science only deal with the material world. And this is what they say about matter. And that alone should fuck your mind up. That should change your life. Fuck if life, okay, let's just say we say the earth is flat or the earth is round. At the end of the day, I don't see how that's going to change your life. But if you understand what physical science or the quantum physics is telling you, they tell you the material shit that you're looking at, it's nothing but condensed energy. So it appears like a mass, whatever, but it's really condensed energy. Oh my fucking God. That should blow your fucking mind. And all this is telling you now is giving you a deeper understanding of what we're looking at, of us. Now, we also say we could manifest. Everybody's talking about the power of manifestation. Well, is that part of you? Then who the fuck is you? So to know your true nature, I mean, when we're dealing with spirituality, I mean, that's what you're dealing with. It's you. But now the biggest misconception, which came out of ignorance, is you not even relating to any sort of spiritual shit about you. Sometimes your intuition would kick in. Sometimes you would see some synchronicities. You would have a dream, and then now you're denying all of that shit. You're throwing all that shit out the window. You're saying that shit is not real because you were trained and have chosen to identify yourself only with your physical self. In other words, with your dick and pussy. So because of that ignorance, this is not I'm not if it's not a football game, you don't relate to it. Or you feel like it's shit. I mean, what is this nigga smoking? It's all good, baby. You know what I'm saying? The people are perishing due to fucking ignorance. So spirituality is your fucking life. It's not religion. It's none of that shit. It embodies all of it. So now when you're dealing with the occult, it's dealing with, you're dealing with those texts or those esoteric meaning or knowledge that help you to have a better understanding of you. And as you're doing so, that's why the Indian called this Maya. Then you get to see this is truly a fucking illusion. And it shows in so many different levels. Like like I always tell people, my son is 5. He loves Spider-Man. But his definition of Spider-Man, it's not my definition of Spider-Man. Yet we're sharing the same space, and to in so many levels, you could say it's space and time as well. That's why you get to see your reality out of your consciousness. You know what I'm saying? And yay, listen, even if you're reading a book, if you're not on the level to understand what's being said in the book, you're not gonna get it. I've read books that I understood 5 years later that I didn't understand at the time that I was. I mean, again, it's just to show you too, like your level of consciousness. That's why this type of knowledge you cannot attain it through your intellect, or I should say through your intellect only, or through the intellect period. That's why you go through your fucking meditation. And guess what happens? Now, when you go through your meditations, you get a higher level of consciousness. Then now your logic, you have a higher logic. Your logics become, you have a deeper sense of your logic become a little more logical. That's what Einstein was talking about when he said you cannot solve the fucking problem with the same mind that created it. So it simply means now you got to look at it from a different perspective. Then now you're going to approach it with a better logic because the logic you had before obviously created it. What the fuck? I don't know how else to say it. It's simple, but it's not simple. Some people say because I remember, life is like a it's like water trading. You stay on top of the water, but yet you pedaling underneath it. It looks easy on the surface. Again, we're dealing with illusion on so many fucking different levels. And that's why our ancestors too, we we love nature. We worship nature. We said nature was God and nature is God. Why? Because these level of understanding could be seen through nature. So now you're having a different relationship with nature. You're dealing with nature more on a fucking energetic level. That's what the shaman does when the shaman is talking to a plant. Those of us who are psychic, that's what we do when we tap into something. This is all of our nature. It's your nature. But now, the more conscious you become, the more sensitive you become to either whatever gift that you may have. Because you're able to go beyond what you see. Your consciousness goes beyond that. Because of that, for me, I could see people's aura. I could spot motherfuckers way before they even come close. You gonna learn today. Oh shit! I can see the exit. Oh no, this is bullshit exit. Let me keep going. Mm-mm. You know what I'm saying? 2 miles that way is bullshit exit. Chris Rock was talking about he went on a safari in Africa. The guy was able to, this is all dealing with energy. He was able to pick up the soil and knew what was happening on this side because what he was doing by touching it was, he was tapping into the energy. And there's intelligence, there's messages in it. You go that way. There's absolutely nothing supernatural about this. It's natural as fuck, but it can only be supernatural if you don't identify yourself with that part of it. Well, out of your ignorance, you look at yourself as dick and pussy, food and fucking wine. Well, that's what it is. Anything beyond that is it's not real. And you guys got to be bold too. Like, how do you get to decide that? You know what I'm saying? Have you experienced both sides? It's coming out of fear, coming out of fucking, again, ignorance. But anyway, in a nutshell, when we're talking about spirituality, it's simply your life. Now, digging into that hidden side of life, that's when we get into the occult. You get to understand more about yourself, becoming more. Now you're going beyond the dick and pussy side that we all been identified to. Now you understand you have a third eye, you have chakras, you have auras. All of these things are part of you. They're not created mysteriously. No, it's just a deeper level of understanding about your true self. And that's how, that's what the occult does. And when we're dealing with spirituality, it embodies all of that. Now, with all of that being said, our conversation tonight, we're going to be talking about the shadow self in marriages. Now, if you've been following me for a second, I talk about the shadow self a lot because it plays a big part in you becoming in alignment with yourself. In fact, just like I stated before, when you're not in union with yourself, because a lot of us were not trained to be in accordance with us, that's why we live in a society where everybody is at it's is seeking to become something. We're living our lives based on a fucking image. This is based on what we should be instead of who we are. So now, when you're living in a life or in a society where everybody's living their life based on who they should be, now you got to have a mask. Now, your accomplishments is your validation. You automatically become a people pleaser because you're not pleasing yourself. And that's why people in this society, people do what they do. People spend money that they don't have. All of that shit. It's not by coincidence. This is all by design. Because the minute you start to become in alignment with yourself, man, who am I going to compete to, man? With? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? All right, you got $1 million. All right, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Good luck. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, man. You know what I'm saying? You do what you got to do. I got $1 in my pocket. I'm gonna make the best out of it. No, what the fuck? When you are in accordance with you, there's no keeping up with the Joneses. But if you're a people pleaser, well, that's what you do. That's how you were trained. That's the society that you're living in. So now, when you're dealing now in a society where shit, well, that's the way you are. That's how you are being trained, or you've been conditioned to be that way. Now you're gonna have issues with yourself. You know, you gotta maintain a certain image. You wouldn't fart in pub. You wouldn't fart in public. You know, some of the natural, most of some of the most natural shit. You know, you wouldn't want to be seen doing these things. That's why when you are a people pleaser, you know, you will never be able. I mean, you don't you never love. So now you start having issues. That's when the toxicity comes in. That's when you see a lot of the motherfuckers. You know, I mean, it's not a shocker. Like you see motherfuckers that always act like, you know what I'm saying, a certain way, like the Bill Cosbys, then these type of motherfuckers. Those are the motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot that they have a lot in their closet. And their shadow, that's why a lot of these motherfuckers they do a lot of dirty shit. But it's truly their shadow now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not in accordance with the shadow, and the shadow has now taken over them, and they're having this conflict. You know, that's why they become automatically they are deceivers, and that's mostly all the people that you're fucking dealing with because they're not in alignment with who the fuck they are. That's what you're gonna get. That's your parents. Those are your siblings. That's why you have competition fucking amongst siblings. You know what I'm saying? Like in my case, you know what I'm saying? A family trying to fucking kill me to get my fucking inheritance. Like that's why you have all of that shit. You're not gonna be comfortable with yourself and looking to compete with somebody else. It doesn't work that way. It has never happened. It's not gonna happen. You can't, and truly, that's the meaning of when we say you cannot serve two gods. And when you start to follow yourself, you don't necessarily become, or you're not doing it to become everybody else's enemy, because that's not the goal here. In fact, you become even a better person. You learn how to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Like better. You respect them, but they don't. How can they respect you? Because they're not looking at you. Now you're not in accordance to what they know. And this is where all the fucking abuse comes in. All everything comes in. Again, dealing with the shadow. So it's important for you as you're doing your spiritual work, you're gonna have to do your shadow work, but you have to understand what's taking place when you're doing your shadow work. And your shadow, just like everything else, it's yourself. And since you are suppressing yourself, but everything else that you do, although you're suppressing yourself is still there. You know what I'm saying? And guess what's happening with your shadow? Your shadow at this point is going crazy. You're boxing your shadow at this point because you're not in alignment with you. And that's when a lot of people, when people are being triggered, that's why they don't even know it. Because it's almost like the minute you choose to become a people pleaser, it's like you have a disconnection between yourself and the shadow self. So you rarely get to meet them. That's why you're not aware, you're not conscious. It takes over sometimes like it's fucking chaotic. And that's why you'll see, you know what I'm saying, people who are toxic, they don't know that they're toxic. You only know how toxic you used to be when you're no longer toxic or as you become more aware. So again, you become in alignment with yourself. And here's something else too. When you become a people pleaser, you cannot take accountability because to take accountability, you got to be accountable. Well, you got to deal with yourself. So that's why a lot of these people they do projection. When you're dealing with the shadow, a lot of people are projecting themselves on other people. Oh, this is all spiritual. Now, if you want to use psychological terms, yeah, I mean, yeah, you could quote a whole lot of bunch of motherfuckers here. You know what I'm saying? Carl Jung. You know what I'm saying? Now they understand you're dealing with the psyche, well, which is also who the fuck is what the fuck is the psyche? You are a living mind. You are energy. You are spirit. Again, that's why there is more to you than what you appear to be. And that's not just me. That's you. That's him. That's her. That's every fucking body. So you're not going to attain self mastery without doing the shadow work. Well, the key word here is self mastery. Well, you can't master yourself if you're not in alignment with yourself. But the reason why it's important to do the shadow work, or even to talk about the shadow work, or even to for me to hold the mirror to help you to see your shadow, because if when you're toxic, you don't know that you're toxic. So I gotta show you your toxic actions. Because sometimes, that's how you may wake up like, oh shit, I did that. Damn. But that has to be reflected to you. And even when it's being reflected to you, that's when people don't take accountability. You're like, motherfucker, that was you that did that. Like, nah, man, you made me do it. Yeah, I did it, but you made me do it. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was almost like it came out of my mouth, but it wasn't me that said it. Hey, I didn't say it. It just came out of my mouth, man. All right, that's it. What are you, a messenger? Nah. Listen, it all makes sense. It is what it is. That's why you need to wake up to that truth. The reality is already. Listen. The work has already been done. You just got to accept it. Another way of saying that, you got to wake up to it. That's when you realize it was already there. But anyway, when we try to show you or display, some toxicity actions, hoping now you could be like, oh, okay. So you could identify the shadow because what's taking place is because you're not in alignment with you don't know when you don't even know what the fuck is your shadow anyway. Again, because you're not in alignment with self. So just like yourself, permeate your shadow permeates in a lot of things that you do. I talked about how in your family, how you're dealing with the shadow. For instance, you hear it all the time. A lot of the black comedians, when mom give you that look. Well, that's the shadow self because that look, and then these niggas would also tell you the story. In front of hey everybody, I'm gonna fuck you up. You see what I'm saying? So you truly get to see their true image at home, but when they're elsewhere, they wearing that mask. You know what I'm saying? And depending on how painful their shadow is, that's when a lot of us were actually abused, like I was, like you were too. You probably don't even know until you become conscious. Because the one thing about being abused, when you're abused, you don't even know it. It's normal to you. That's why you'll see people who were abused turn around and do the same shit that happened to them. And that's what people mean when they say hurt people. Hurt people. That's when you got to have compassion by understanding your true nature too. To understand, although yes, it's intentional. They know what the fuck they're doing, but they don't know any better. That's when, as you become the Christ now, you forgive them for what they've done to you. That's what that means. Because now you have the highest level of understanding to understand that it was their shadow. But then again, you got to protect yourself too. That's what you now at that point, then you're going to learn how to create your boundaries. Again, that's why when you create your boundary, it's very healthy. This is you valuing or understanding the self, and you just got to maintain it, baby. The boundaries are automatically going to be there. If you're truly in alignment. I know for me, I'm shit. Sure. Nothing will break my peace. I'd rather, like, you see how Jesus said, I'll cut my fucking right arm before that happens. I'll kill myself before that happens. You found my treasure, baby. It's too late. There's no going back, baby. No. No, fuck, going back for what? For what? I can't unsee what I see, man. The fuck? It's delusional bitches. Crazy. So now, again, the shadow get to show itself in different aspect of your life. It's so subtle, you won't be, and because you're not in alignment with yourself, you won't be able to recognize it. So how the fuck do you do your shadow work? Well, that's what we're doing now, helping you to identify a couple things. That's why I talk about, even when we talk about, let's just say, the shadow self and love in our society right now, in our current culture. Motherfuckers would tell you, can love pay my bills, man? What your bills got to do with love, man? Excuse me. Can water pay your bills? Do you need water? Do you drink water? Do you take a bath? What the fuck? Let's see again. I mean, because you're looking to suppress it, make it look like it's so unimportant, and that's when the anxiety and that's the toxicity that we're preaching. Even when you look around, like the dating scene, it's just toxic. You see, that's why a lot of these stupid they playing mind games. They're not about the experience, but they're playing mind games. They playing themselves. You guys are jerking off out here, man. It's like you see people are creating the same pain. Let's just say they were dealing with somebody else, not knowing, I mean, shit, pain. Listen, man, your growth, you gotta go through pain. Pain is your best friend. Just like if you want to have a nice body, you know what I'm saying? You got to hit the gym. The stronger you get, well, there you go. Those are pain. You got to put the pain in. But because you don't have a better understanding of that pain, or you're not able to transmute it, or you don't have a positive outlook on the pain, then now you become crippled. And that's what you're dealing with a lot of crippled motherfuckers. Making love like you know what I'm saying, it's so soft and shit. And behind closed door, motherfuckers are crying. My God, anxiety, I don't feel good. Well, that's your nature, bitch. Even a baby need hug. It's your nature. There's nothing weak about love at all. I get it. You got a big dick, don't you? You know what I'm saying? It's always the weakest one. Now that I know how to see beyond the veil, that's how I could see the weaknesses. And I'm trying to help you to spot the toxicity in it. So now, because we're in a society where we're looking at people on paper instead of who they are, that's technically because you're not yourself. That's why self love, when it comes to love, you got to love yourself before you love somebody else. Because that self love that you have allows you to, now you're looking for other, like when you see the divinity in you, then now that's when you can see the divinity in other people. And that's truly what self love is, which is totally different from selfish. Not the same. Selfish now, yes. It's dealing with the self, but only on with the external shit. That's why a selfish motherfucker will step on your toes, not worry about your feelings, because it's not dealing with the divine quality. What he's getting is just the external benefit. That's the world that you're living in. That's been created for us, and we're living in. Again, dealing with the shadow. You got to do your shadow self. I mean, your shadow work. And the shadow shows itself in so many different things. In marriages too. So that's what we're gonna be talking about. Let's step into it. So now, because you choosing another motherfucker on paper, and the motherfucker's looking at you too, based on your fucking accomplishments and things like that. So it's your marriage now becomes more of a vow to maintain each other's image. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't really get that. That's why you'll see certain couples that may be married for 50 years, but it's all a fucking image. Like a friend of mine, I remember back in college, we were talking about because he was saying how his parents were married for like 50 years, but he had never seen them holding hands. But yet they stayed married for 50 years. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And like I always tell people too, like that's why marriage got nothing to do with love, man. You know what I'm saying? You have people who are married too, man. They sleep in separate rooms, man. You know, because now I'm not selling the house. I'm not going back to a fucking one bedroom apartment, whatever the fuck the situation is. So now it's almost like now, you know what I'm saying? But you understand, it appears to be more mature, because in society, let's be honest, when you marriage, it's like it's somehow you more serious. Like, like if you're a man, you got two dicks. If you're a bitch, you got two pussies. Like it's like there's something extra that is somehow I don't know more mature, I guess. Yeah. So again, so what you're truly seeing, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so we do have an open case. This is this is an open study case. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can see it. Like Will Smith and Jada. Like these are incredible to me. Like, it's almost like when they weren't together, they were separated, they acted like they weren't happy. And then when they no longer separated, now they tell you that they were separated. It's Disney. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, to me, it's almost like, I mean, they are maintaining each other's marriage. They said bad marriage for life. Oh, these niggas are two funny motherfuckers. And they were laughing too. Come on now. Shit. Hey, I mean, yo, that came out of my mouth, but I wasn't the one that said it. You know what I'm saying? This came out of my mouth. I'm just paraphrasing. That's what they said. Bad marriage for life. You know what I'm saying? But here's something else too. That's why. You know what I'm saying? A good marriage too doesn't necessarily, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that shit got nothing to do with love. I mean, it's always good when there's a out of shit. Listen, you can never go wrong with love. You know what I'm saying? But that's internal, that's self love. Because it's almost like, like when you trying to make, like, now it's almost like they vouch for each other's images, just like I was talking about. And they've been doing a good job at maintaining that. Now, their marriage is strong. Listen, if you get it, you get it. Their marriages are strong. Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't see anything wrong. I don't see anything wrong. Do you? But true commitment, it comes from the internal. That's why sometimes true love doesn't always, you can have true love in one day. You can have it in 15 minutes. There's no timeline in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about how you are relating with that person. Sometimes it could be the first time. That's why you'll see, like some people sometimes, they automatically click. I was listening to, who was that guy named? This African bro, man. What the fuck? Anyway, so this nigga was saying the way he met his wife, they were attracted to one another. They sat down and had a conversation for the whole day. They were just talking to each other, talking, 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 like, because I could understand what was taking place. He opened up himself, she opened up herself, and like they were having that intimacy. They built on that. Now I see them, Rotimi, whatever the fuck that nigga name is. But much respect, I love you, brother. I just don't remember the name. Yeah, man. Oh, if anything, shit, I'm watching. I study everybody. I'm watching all of y'all motherfuckers. So, I mean, it's great. It went on, it became fruitful. I mean, they both have to nourish it too. You know what I'm saying? That's why true love, it's two person. Like it's myself believing in love, and you also believing in love, and now we come together. Now, when you're dealing with the shadow in those marriages now, a lot of those marriage counselors now, they helping you how to fix that image better. Or sometimes, they may help you to become more in connection with you too. And again, a divorce does not have to happen because, and that's why too. You know what I'm saying? Will and Jada, why should they divorce? They're protecting each other very well. Divorce can only happen if one of them decide no longer protect that image. Then like fuck it, I'm walking away. Or if she decided to do the same, then now their marriage becomes on a whole other level. That's what happens sometimes when you see after 2 years, 3 years, and you'll hear the motherfucker said, you know what, my wife and I, we had to rework shit out because initially when they got together, it was just a fucking shadow self. It's like now you got married with their shadow self. not because you truly know who the motherfucker was. Now, when you truly get to know the motherfucker, then that's when you really work shit out. Either you walk away or you build. That's why sometimes it takes 3 to 4 years, depending how strong your shadow is, motherfucker. No, depending how thick you are. So when my friend was telling me, never seen, I am saying, like, damn, these motherfuckers are good. They know how to maintain each other's shadow. And guess what? My friend, he was going through pain, man. Because when you have two people that way who are doing shit to make it like your life, it's the same thing that they're fucking doing. That's what they're gonna impose on you. That's what they have. They can't give you what they don't have. Can you imagine this motherfucker now living his life and not getting married? It would be so disappointing to us, to our family legacy. Man, fake ass motherfuckers, man. That's why, like, for me, I'm watching the game. That's why it's always gonna be better, because at that point you don't know what's gonna happen. It's always better for you to do your shadow work and look for someone who has done their shadow work as well. Then that connection will be on a greater foundation. Now, the foundation of that relationship would be based, that's why you always win. Not to mention the transformation that you'll be going through, you and that person as well. Because now you have become more open, willing you have become more intimate, willing to be vulnerable, then you are also transforming. It's like you guys have became, oh my God, that's what I want, baby. Man, I ain't getting nothing less than that shit. Get the fuck out. Ah, hey, come on now. Now every day's worth living. There ain't no fake now. Now that's truly your bitch, and you truly that nigga's nigga, or that's your nigga. What are we doing? So that's why even to experience true love too, to constantly evolve. That's why you have to be open to change. Your true strength it comes from your ability to become vulnerable. That's where your strength truly is. That's what makes you strong. Now, when you stand behind that, oh, listen, man, you're gonna grow muscles. I mean, because I've been through it. Listen, that's when you're gonna be born again. Don't worry about it. You're gonna learn how to crawl. You're gonna crawl. Listen, man, we got muscles now. Shit, I got six packs and all that, nigga. We packing because only when you relate to your true self can you really have a fucking internal commitment. That's when you truly to admit you accept the motherfucker for who or she is. And that's the mutual. But to be respected, that's why you got to respect yourself. And people who are not in balance with their shadow self, who are shadow boxing, who doesn't respect themselves, will never respect nobody. That's why these people they don't know fucking boundaries, man. Like that's what trash is. You don't know your boundary, my nigga. This shit's crazy. This is yuck. Damn. You that bad? Oh shit. Hey, even better for me too. Like I'm glad. What? Nigga. That's why shit, we ain't looking back at all. It's, it's trash. What you gonna do with it? What? It doesn't make sense. So, as part of the shadow, especially in those marriages where the self is not the priority, so then now subconsciously you guys are maintaining each other's images. And during that course, you know what I'm saying, in the mix of that, when you guys get to, because at one point the shadow's gonna come out, baby. I don't know if it takes a year or a two or the true self, one of them. Either through the fucking verbal abuse, it's always the testimony where, oh, my husband, he was so nice after the first year we got married. Then the motherfucker start whooping my ass. So I'm saying that to say, sooner or later, it may be 4 years, it may be 5 years. Now, depending on how strong you guys are, like if you're Jada and Smith, I mean, you might want to ask them how the fuck is that, because they're doing something. If you, let's say, your definition of good marriage is longevity or it's not divorce, that's what you need to do. You need to learn from these guys. I'm telling you, this is incredible to me. It's incredible to me. But if you're looking at your well-being and you making yourself better, and as you're discovering, because a karmic, what they call, let's just say, a relationship where you're dealing with each other's shadow self, it's always going to teach you lessons. So now, if you choose to take the lesson with you and make it better, then you may have to start over. That's where the divorce comes in. That's why a lot of that shit doesn't mean you are unsuccessful. It doesn't mean none of that shit. Because it's at the end of the day, it's about growth, really transformation. So now, if you happen to do that while you're in the mix, you get yourself better. You know what I'm saying? Go again, baby. Go again. You know what I'm saying? You good. Keep going. But make sure you learn them. But some of us may have to learn a couple more times. Hey, it's all part of the journey, baby. No one's judging. And all of that is also part of the shadow work too. But I would strongly suggest you do a heavy duty shadow work. So the experience wouldn't have to be repeated on a different level. Because ultimately that's what it comes down to. You got to find somebody who know who they are. If you're in touch with self, they have to be in touch with self. There's no if and buts. There's no potential. She might get there or he might. No, it's got to be that. It's either that or not. Any potential, nah. If you got to keep working on yourself, you're not ready. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Now you may choose to be with someone who's on that same level as you, going through the shit, or if you decided, just like we were talking about in the mix, when you guys find out, okay, what are we gonna do now? Okay, this is the true me, and bitch, this is the true you. Okay, nigga, like, are we gonna make it better? We're gonna work it out. If you decide to go it that way, then you too, yeah, now you need to stop blaming the bitch, and she needs to stop blaming you, because now you each one of you guys gonna start taking accountability. That's how now you becoming in alignment with the self. Because when you become accountable, we don't blame anybody anymore. Okay, that's what I did. Now I'll do it better next time. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? How do you take accountability? Like what these motherfuckers are doing. It's like, I'm gonna go see a therapist if you go see one. Bitch, what do you want me to do? Go see what you want to. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. That's 50-50. It doesn't work that way. You see what I'm saying? Because if you really wanted to go, when you know it's time for you to go, you're not gonna ask, "Hey, baby, I want you to help me." You know what I'm saying? Assist me in leaving your ass. No, you just get up and go. Right? So if it's precious, you would know what to fight for, what not to fight for. So that's why when you're talking about marriages or a healthy relationship, it's true. It's 100% with 100%. That's why this bitch got to put this work in. I heard her working. That's what it comes down to for me. Nigga, hey, so you got to put your work in. If you're not ready, keep working. You know what I'm saying? I got to keep going. That's all there is to it. But again, dealing with the shadow self, that's why it's important, for you to do your shadow work. And in so many words, the whole journey is pretty much that's when now you have to learn how to dance with your shadow. Now, dancing with your shadow at this point, as you're becoming in alignment with you, you're taking accountability. Then now your shadow now is protecting you, not being triggered, but now, that's why I always tell people my ego's protecting me. Contrary to what everybody says when they talk about the ego's fucking nah. My ego's my best friend. But the true problem is the type of information that you're feeding your ego. Because I have an understanding that I accept everybody. If there's someone, let's just say I may feel a little certain way, my ego comes in like, hey, motherfucker, everybody's the same. I'm like, oh, thank you, God. Thank you. Needed that. You know what I'm saying? Now it's serving me as a reminder. It's protecting me that way. And on the flip side, if nobody's this, you don't think everybody's the same, guess what? Your ego now, when there's a problem, is gonna kick in. And you know what? We gotta let them know. You know what I'm saying? We're not the same as them. Nigga, I eat better than you. You know what I'm saying? I got a better car than you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people do, because now they have to protect, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why most people, that I'm saying, you were I don't know, whatever the fuck we do to look good. That's why they tell you broke motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, are the most expensive looking ones. You have to compensate for it. That's why your shadow is going to reflect one way or another. You can't hide. That's why when we're dealing with energy, that's why when the people react a certain way, I could tell so and so is insecure. That's why you did it. And most people who are playing the mind control game, it's because they are insecure. So they're looking for it to dominate. So in our culture, unfortunately, what we're dealing with when we're dealing with relationship, there you go, dealing with the shadow again. We're dealing with domination out of fear, and now you got to control. That's why you have the battle between the sexes in this culture. You don't want to show the motherfucker you weak, you too thirsty. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine like when Rotini was having that conversation with the lady? Or maybe, oh, okay, you know what? I don't want to give him too much of me by having this long. You know what? We're gonna stop it there. Well, I'm busy. I gotta go. Or just to show, like, nah, what kind of so what has been the result so far? Let me know. Let me know what has been the result so far. But I could tell you if you choose to open up a little bit more, have more of a sincere conversation, be more of yourself, you will attract that. I can guarantee you that. You're playing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Again, you shadow boxing. You shadow boxing. You know what I'm saying? Why are you hurting yourself that way? Because at the end of the day, you get no fucking results. Please let me know. I have yet to see or heard a successful story out of that shit. But the successful story I have heard, it's always been people who open up to one another. But unfortunately, because one person got hurt, and now the game that they're learning games from other people who are toxic, who's teaching now how to become the same thing that somebody else did to them. This shit is hilarious. Those are most of your, relationship gurus and shit. Shit's crazy. You let me know. You know what I'm saying? Again, I have yet, you know what I'm saying? But all of these things could teach you how to dominate a man, have it done your way. If that's what you're looking for. Hey, but just know that's all you're gonna get. And that type of life too, it comes with the fucking anxieties, you know what I'm saying? You maintaining a fucking image, just like in my friend's fucking example, for 50 years, maintaining those are your Will Smith. These niggas are good. And now that's what they telling you, you know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys now, you know what I'm saying? You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not fighting for the image no more. In so many words. But some of you too, are like have this fucking illusion too. It's like you're not fighting for that image, but you're fighting for a different image. Instead of fighting for the real shit. Because it's like, how do you say that shit? It's like a house built on sin. It may look good, but the foundation is not. But again, I guess it all depends. Again, man, like you could be married for 50, 60 years too. Now you're just dealing with the shadow. That's all. And again, that's why marriages got nothing to do with true love. You see what I'm saying? And and here's something else too. And it's a must, that your partner, if you are conscious, that she or he got to be conscious, what I'm saying, before you get involved in anything, if you're conscious yourself, because, what I'm saying, otherwise it's not going to work. If it's not, what I'm saying, then you're going to be on a whole different time. They wouldn't look at you the way you're looking at them. They wouldn't be as vulnerable as you would want them to be, or as you being yourself. Now you're casting pearls before swine. Now that's your fault. If someone's not ready, leave them alone, bro. Leave them alone. It's okay. You're not losing anything. In fact, what I'm saying, get better. And if you know better, you'll do better anyway. It would just be another test for you to know your strength now. Because knowing your strength has to be manifested in the shit, in your actions, in your fucking decisions. Because people who are codependent, it shows in their actions. The lack of courage, of fucking dependency, shows in their actions. Thirsties, but they were acting strong. You know what I'm saying? Again, because, you know what I'm saying, because you're a faker. So the shadow self, it's important to do your shadow work. And, either you're doing that, most importantly, the goal, you don't want to keep doing the shadows work, but you want to do it to a point where now you start dancing with your shadow. Because at one point you got to get to self mastery. And that self mastery is really when you're dancing with your shadow now. And again, if you were to be married or getting into a relationship or dealing with other people, your shadow and yourself will be reflected in a lot of different activities that you do as well. Now, because you are balanced internally, your actions, you're going to create a healthy environment. In other words, that's how you purify your environment. And as you're doing so, that's what you provide for your kids. That's what we do for the kids. Like, that's what, what I'm saying. Man, listen, you got to do that realignment. And that's why we're here, all of us. I had to do it for myself. And that's what I'm here to do. And listen, like I always say, and this is a privilege too, to meet so many star seeds, or even to be able to project that message, and always to the great listeners, I always gotta salute you, because not everybody's gonna be on the same level, but those, what I'm saying, who understand this, who grab it, listen, you're blessed. That was your blessing. This is for you. I fucking love you, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck who you is. Or who you are, depending on how you look at yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's all on you. So again, it's important, and as you're doing that shadow work too, you get to discover those treasure in you that you somehow rejected, those buried gifts. because now you no longer, trying to maintain an image. You're doing the shit that you love. Oh, going down that path, the transformation in itself. I know for me, I could tell you, and I even see the transformation in myself from my very first video, and even to like 300 and something videos later. And we ain't stopping, baby, for no red light. You got me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Shit. I feel good doing this shit, man. I feel like Shaka Zulu, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have a spear. My dick is my spear, my trident. I'm holding this shit, doing this. Oh, listen, it's a pleasure, man. But most importantly, understanding how universal and how important this is. Because that's what we're dealing with on a regular basis. I mean, I'm serving humanity. This is for you. I'm doing God's work, man. That's why I told him, man, you never throw a rock at the sun, man. Couple of hard heads. Couple of hard heads. You know what I'm saying? They were throwing rock at the sun. Like, what? Oh, you're gonna learn. Sure, sometimes that's all it takes, man. Just the wrong turn. And y'all made the wrong turn. Anyway, going back to, how important it is to do the shadow work, but most importantly, doing the shadow work is just so you could dance with the shadow now. Now you become whole, you become in harmony, mind, body, and soul. You're flourishing out here, baby. You're radiating. Now you being the light of the world as you were meant to be, as you are. You're already a star, baby. You gotta wake up to it. You gotta wake up to it. And when you do, listen, no one could do it like you do. They can never do it like you do because it's your shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I told him, man. Yeah, you study the game tapes all you want. You're only gonna see how good I look. That's all. But he's still winning though. Oh shit. Oh, shit. All right, guys. I think it's about time. It's about an hour and a half. I hope you know there was something good in it for you. Always remember to give is to receive. Wisdom is wisdom regardless where it comes from. The remedy of the pain is in the pain. Haitien. Mali.